Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Soaring Through Chaos. And these are challenging times with the second wave of the corona, with the pandemic. And it's unclear which way the world is going. There are changes every day when it comes to worrying about our health or about, the numbers that you see in the media. It's unclear about jobs and, about work and sustainability on the financial side. And that has come with a lot of finger pointing, blaming the governments or blaming certain groups. It's not been very helpful. But amid all this, I find there are a lot of people who are trying to build community, who are trying to, get people closer to each other. And they are the people I look forward to talking to in this series. One of them is Anshika Katara. I got to know her through a common friend. And then we did a few things online. We did a lot of live streams teaching English online to people around the world. And that's how we got to know each other. So Anshika, tell us about you. You started off in engineering and then now you're in the development sector, working on helping people. What was the transition like? First of all, how did you get into engineering? And then what motivated you to get into development?
So I got into engineering because being this Bangalore person who is brought up in Bangalore, there were like just two options. Either you are a doctor or an engineer, and I hated biology. I just cannot see that and all those things. So I never wanted to take that. So I moved to engineering because all my friend circles were going into engineering. Though I was advised that you should probably try for law, and I wanted to, but my dad was very against it because he was a lawyer and he did not probably succeed as a lawyer. So he was like, "Nee, nee, law, nee, do engineering. That's a good thing, and all your friends are doing." I was quite naive at that time and very influenced by what my friends were doing, and everybody was actually preparing for engineering, having the eye. So, utna exposure nahi tha. What now kids have at 15, I did not have that much at 15, though I had a lot of exposure. I knew a lot of things, but internet was not very readily available. I knew only what others were doing, and everybody else was doing engineering, and I was good at studies. I was good in science. Everybody's like, okay, engineering, IIT prepare karte hain. So I started preparing for IITs, AIEEE, gave that normal exam, CET, got through engineering in first, second year. And I did like computer science, but I didn't like that coding aspect too much of it. And I would see my friends who were like too much into coding. I'm like, ye to nahi karna hai. I don't want to do this. And something is not sticking around. But then I just finished my engineering, thinking, ki, acha, abhi nahi, I'll get an interest later on probably. Got into a job, started working, but I was never very satisfied with what I was doing. And so back of the mind, I was like, okay, I want to do something which involves interacting with people, probably doing something which wherein I can see the direct impact day to day, not day to day, but at least I know what I'm doing and for whom am I doing for. So there was this incident when I was around 15, which all my brothers headmaster, the school headmaster, and an IS officer. So my brother was having issues with the language studies, and he was in a 10th standard. So he needed a certificate for this dyslexia thing, and this headmaster actually suggested about some person to go and meet on a very short notice. And if the doctor and this IS officer, so he had also spoken to some, so this IS officer requesting, and then we went to the doctor and we could get the certificate in a very short span of time. Otherwise, my brother would have had issue writing his exam, 10th standard exam, and probably would not have sailed through and have lost an year. Like today he is well off and working in a good organization is all because I think in that 10th standard exam he got that small support, and then something about that stuck me and I was like, okay, IS officer and all, you can be an IS officer, work and be able to make an impact, and kitna chalta hai aap, like you just made a call and you were able to get that person to work and everything was very smooth thing. And because he actually took interest and being a friend of my school headmaster to help this child whom he didn't know about it. So I thought, okay, this is a good thing. So then I started, this was back of my mind. So when I was just when I was just working in an IT, I started figuring out how. I was not much aware of how the exam is conducted, what happens. So I started reading about it. Then at around 2015, I decided I want to give my full-fledged attempts. I want to probably work hard and crack this exam. I gave, uh, I studied for it. I gave my prelims, cleared prelims, did not clear mains. So by the time 2018, I was very disillusioned. I was very scared. I didn't know what to do. But I knew one thing, that I didn't wanted to go back to the IT sector. So I had also volunteered with NGOs. So this is one, and during my course of UPSC preparation, I had read about a lot of NGOs and the impact how they had created many people. So that's when I started thinking, okay, I want to work in this sector. If not through being an IS officer, probably I can work through an NGO. Then I started figuring out what to do, and that's when I came across ISTM, Indian School of Development Management. Got through it, prepared for like 1 year I was in ISTM, and then now finally now I'm working at Gram Vikas. So
Very
yeah,
nice,
it's been
very nice. And thank you for sharing your journey because it's not easy. I'm sure a lot of people ask those questions. Why did you give up this lucrative, financially, lucrative business, career in IT and get into development?
okay.
So, Anshika, when we met, you were in the final year of your ISDM program or the second semester. And it was so amazing to meet you and Aishi talking about your aspirations to start an NGO of your own that would span like pretty much the whole country, looking at overall development and all that. So, what was the ISDM experience like, and how did it channel you into thinking about like overall development of the nation?
So at ISDM, we got to learn about different perspectives and different ways how development is looked at, and understanding that for the same problem, there could be different solutions, and not necessarily that your solution is always right. The one thing which has always stayed with me will be this, that they said, don't create new problems. For the sake of solving some old problems, don't create new problems. And that was something which, over the course of IST, we understood why they were very keen on it. And also about the importance of actually reflecting back and seeing, understanding what exactly is your goal. So being able to first make peace with yourself, only then will you be able to do something for others. So that was some things which have stayed with me. And apart from that, we got a very good idea about how different people have different challenges and have taken different routes at times, which might not necessarily incline with your values, but then certain time those are the right decisions. Those are the decisions which they thought are right at that time.
Mhm. And then now that you are in Bhubaneswar in Odisha and working with this organization, Gram Seva, is that what it is called?
Gram Vikas. Gram
How did
Vikas.
you decide on joining Gram Vikas? I've heard great things about it. What made you join Gram Vikas?
So one thing which I realized was I have been very city bred. I have been brought up in Bangalore throughout my life, and have stayed there. I have never got an opportunity to be for a longer time in a small city or even in a village. And Grams is an organization which has worked in tribal districts, in very small villages, very small, and also Odisha as such is a very not very developed state compared to Karnataka. So I thought if I want to actually go into the development sector, it's very important for me to understand. the real India by actually experiencing it. Because staying in Bangalore, it's very easy to say, okay, why this is not happening, that's not happening, aisa kyun hai, waisa kyun hai. Having a lot of complaints about it. But it's another different thing when you actually go into the field and realize what are the problems. So it's just been like 15 days. I have joined Gram Vikas officially, but over the course of interaction with our executive director also, I could understand that a lot of things which we assume are very aisa hona chahiye, why is it so, is not how it works on the field. On the field there is a different skill sets which are required. So I just wanted to hear, if not to get an opportunity to work there, probably because my area of work is completely different, at least understand it much better from first perspectives.
Mhm. Wow, that's really nice. And in fact, I've visited, in the course of my work, I've visited Odisha twice and found out that it has the largest number of tribes, 62 tribes, and it has a large, very diverse population. So I'm sure you'll have many opportunities to work with different people that you want to serve. How about the 24 of you got together and started this organization called Kayantar? Can you tell us more about it and how you're going to be able to do both your work with Gram Vikas and Kayantar?
Yeah, so right now, what I do is after my office hours, I have time. So that's when I dedicate to it to Kaiser and work on things which I have taken it up voluntarily. And the 24 of us got together. Basically, Alokesh had an idea. Alokesh and few of his friends had an idea, and then they told us about it, which was very interesting. It was interesting to me also because I personally also wanted to be a part of an NGO starting it from the start. And that's when we started getting together, coming together in meetings and forming a bond in the course of time. And then I was able to by the time we that after my internship we'll get back together, we'll discuss more and register an NGO. But then Corona happened and we never could go back. But this is very well handled by the rest. We were able to get it registered, and also now we try and talk to each other, everybody. Not always, we are not able to have all the 24 of us, but we try and keep each other updated, try and interact and have formal means of communication, divide our tasks, and able to like run. So now we finally zeroed on two locations, Mewat and Aurangabad, where we'll be starting our work. So that's how. But yeah, it's been a bit of challenge because we were planning to go back and by the time we finish our course have more refined approach, but whatever we could manage then, it was all online, everything. So yeah.
And where do you see yourself going further in terms of has COVID made any major changes to your plans being in this pandemic? In what ways has it changed your plans?
So COVID has not made any major changes in my plan, but yes, is made me realize that things are very uncertain. So you have to be very adaptable to things. And where do I see myself going? I probably want to do best in what right now at Gram Vikas, what I'm gonna be doing. And as far as Kayantar is concerned, I want Kayantar actually to the first year to go very well so that we could probably get more funding, because the funding has been a quite challenge in these times. So I want this first year to actually go well and be able to successfully demonstrate what we are trying to demonstrate, so that we'll be able to successfully roll out the second year, third year, yeah, etc.
And as you know, these have been trying times for a lot of people. It's such an amazing thing that you and many of your colleagues were able to at least find enough interesting work and get engaged right after graduating with your ISTM development management degree. But there are many who are struggling. Have you been able to support them? Do you have any suggestions on what people can do to find meaning during these difficult times? You have been through your
Uh,
trials and tribulations of 4 years with UPSC. Is there anything you can suggest?
so I would say that I agree these are very difficult times, and it's for everybody. It's I might say that I did not feel rejected about it because eventually I was able to pull out myself. But it is okay to be dejected. It's okay to feel that things are not going as your plans are. But then you cannot be stuck at what you're doing. You have to probably figure out a plan B. What if my plan A is not working? My plan B should be ready, and I should probably start working for plan B. There would be some minor compromises maybe you would have to make considering the pandemic. Like maybe if somebody has lost a job, he might probably not get a job with the same salary bracket which he was working in. So rather than actually beating yourself around it, wondering why me, it's good that we probably take a step back and think that this is not a reflection of our skills. It's just a reflection of what the world has come to this time. And it's okay to compromise somewhere. And it's okay to always believe in yourself that no matter what, I would be able to survive, I would be able to get out of it. And talk to people. It's very important that you don't just think that yes if mere saath ho raha hai, yeah, be very sad about it, because a lot of people right now are getting into depression, are we have seen a spike in suicides across the world. And that's all, one reason is because we're not able to talk to people uh, because people are not able to meet physically. And a lot of us think कि यार दोस्त को कॉल करेंगे तो क्या होगा उसको परेशान. But just imagine if you were around, you would have anyways told it to your friend. So rather than just being having it in yourself, it's good that you speak out, you talk to people or write about it. Probably if you could write, you could express yourself. That would actually make a lot of things easier. And we'll all sail through it. Like, yes, things will be difficult, but we will sail through it. We are sailing through it. Though the
Yeah,
things are getting difficult, we are still sailing through it.
6 months and we've done all right, huh?
Yeah.
Not easy, but 6 months, we've gone through it,
And we
and it
don't even know
definitely,
when it's going to end. So the
nobody,
worst part is we don't even know.
yeah, nobody knows. And I'm planning to go to Africa, but exactly how it'll pan out, I have no idea. But otherwise,
Oh,
sitting at home is not something, and doing nothing about it is not very helpful. So might as well take that small risk and continue forward. That's been my way of doing things so far, and it has worked okay. But who knows long term? So
yeah. So
very
I
nice.
think that's also one important aspect that a lot of us have got very afraid. Like my mom, especially, was very afraid when I was traveling to Bhubaneswar. And with the cases rising up in Bangalore, she has got really very paranoid.
Yeah,
So a lot of us are getting very afraid about it. But then there's no, but then there's something which we cannot, avoid. How long are we going to avoid? Because I've heard cases of people who have not left their home and still got COVID. So there's not, you can take as much as precautions as possible. You should not stop taking precautions. You should definitely wear a mask, maintain social distance, do it, follow all the advices. But then stop thinking that, if you stop living, things are going to get better. You never know that. You might just sit at home and kahin se kaise you get it, you don't know. So having a positive mindset about it is much better. Like as you said, that you want to travel to Africa. Of course, things are risky, but then you have to start going around.
I'll be prudent, but there's no point just dreaming about it and sitting here and doing nothing. So I will take that step of going forward. And kids are old enough that they are on their own, so risk is lower. Risk is much lower.
Yeah.
So, well, very nice talking to you, Anshika. Do you have any things, any closing words? Maybe talk about any hobbies or anything like that? Anything that we may have missed?
So my hobby basically is reading. I love reading and I like reading because I feel reading helps you to understand diverse opinions. So I'm not a fiction reader. I'm more of a non-fiction reader. So reading about nonfiction makes you understand different things from different perspectives. So I like actually reading books from two different perspectives before coming to a conclusion. So I do think everybody should actually read, because if you're reading or if you're even watching things, you get to understand a lot many things very critically.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I was a voracious reader, and now I do a combination of reading and meeting people. But yeah, they have been a big boon. Any interesting books you read lately that you would recommend?
So lately I read the last book which I have completed. Like I'm so sorry. Uh, I am reading books right now, but I'm not completed. So the last book which I read was Invisible Woman, and that was really good. That was really nice to read about how data biases actually grip into policy making, decision making, and then we don't realize how it actually affects half of the world population, and how it is important that the data is not biased, which also made me question that how if going forward we have artificial intelligence deciding a lot of things could get worse rather than actually being good.
Which is true, which is true. In fact, people assume that just because a computer will take decisions, that it is unbiased, and there are more and more pointers that it depends on who programs it and what are their biases. And we've seen significant biases even in Silicon Valley in San Francisco. But people are becoming more sensitive, and that's helping. There are more women CEOs now in the tech industry than ever before. So we hope that trend continues. The number is very insignificant even today. Indira Nooyi, who was the former CEO of Pepsi, mentioned that in an address just this week, that even today the women who get venture capital is only like 2.5%, when a large percentage of women are in, have business background, engineering background, science background. The numbers are still very skewed. Well, very nice talking to you. Do you have any closing words for people? Or I know you speak less, but you always say something very meaningful. So, do you have any other suggestions for people who may be looking for a direction?
So lastly, I would like to say that just believe in yourself. Things might not look very great at this moment, and you might be questioning yourself. But and it's okay to question yourself. It's good, but believe that you will be able to do what you're aiming at. Work hard for it. Try and always have a plan B if a plan A doesn't work. But give your 100%, and then we have to live it to maybe if you believe in God, or just luck, because sometimes even your best efforts don't convert into results, and cannot do anything about it. But we can always learn from those mistakes.
Again, really nice talking to you, Anshika, and good luck with all your plans. And as an informal advisor to Kayantar, I'll be always with all 24 of you. And I look forward to interacting. It's a novel business model trying to figure out how to make changes throughout the country and support each other in doing that. Very interesting stuff. And to anybody out there who's listening, please continue to stay in touch. If you would like to talk about what you're doing, how life is, the challenges you're facing, particularly due to the pandemic, how we are able to overcome the challenges, I would love to hear. And thanks again, Anshika, and we will be in touch.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for actually considering me worthy enough to be spoken to. So
Well,
thank you.
it's a
Just
sharing
sweet.
session. We are all here to learn with each other. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
how many IAS officers can I talk to? It is actually good to talk to people who are doing different things because we are all in it together, right? So
Yeah.
you are the people in the trenches who will be actually working with people in need. So I'm grateful that I get an opportunity to talk to you and many others in the sector.
So thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Bye now.